de verle tocar balón, porque este chaval tiene magia. Dončić de tres, dentro.
Down to 8, moves on Pullman, takes it in, hammers it home.
Luka Dončić has always been a special player. People call him a generational talent for a good reason. He's a one-man wrecking crew capable of destroying single coverage defenses on his own with his drives to the basket and patented step-back three-pointer. But while most generational talents reach this level of greatness during their early 20s, Luka was doing it as a teenager. He was simply an anomaly in 2018 when he had just turned 19. And that's because he was a prodigy from day one. Luka Dončić's rise to stardom started as early as 7 months old. He was the son of a former player and coach in his home country of Slovenia, and because of his father's influence, he started playing organized basketball at 7, going up against boys much older than him. Dončić was already destroying 10-year-old kids at that age, making people see his talent and potential early on. But he wasn't beating those kids using his size. He knew that he was not as big or as athletic as they were. So instead, he used his brain to outwit them on the court. True enough, it was his wits and unique craftiness that turned him into a basketball sensation in Europe as early as 11 years old. But he was too good for kids his age. So it didn't take long for his youth coaches to bring him up to the under-14 team when he was just 11. And as young as 12, he was winning MVP trophies in under-14 tournaments.
Now it's Luka. Deep three over 4.
Pretty soon, Dončić turned into a teenage prodigy, becoming a professional basketball player as young as 16. Just 2 seasons later, he was the talk of the international basketball world at just 18 years of age. The 2017-18 season with Real Madrid in Europe was his breakout year. Playing against seasoned veterans, some of whom played in the NBA, Dončić averaged 16 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 4.3 assists by the end of the season in 2018. So, he was already incredibly good in 2018, even before he made it to the NBA. And he capped off that incredible run with Real Madrid by winning the EuroLeague championship and becoming the youngest player to win the EuroLeague MVP. Despite how good he was in Europe playing against much older professionals who could give NBA players a run for their money, Dončić wasn't the cream of the crop of the 2018 NBA draft. The talent in that class was great. Aside from Luka, that class produced all-star players and elite talents like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jalen Brunson. But somehow, the Phoenix Suns, who owned the top overall pick, were convinced that DeAndre Ayton was the best player. The Suns understandably needed a big man to complete their rebuild, making Ayton a logical choice. But while Ayton turned into a double-double machine, he was never the same superstar caliber player that Dončić was. If you had a chance to draft a generational talent, you'd put that player at the top of your priority list even if you needed a center. But every scout thought Dončić was far too slow and unathletic for his game to translate from the European leagues into the NBA. Even the Sacramento Kings, who drafted a bust named Marvin Bagley III with the 3rd overall pick, didn't think Dončić was worth the pick. The Atlanta Hawks, meanwhile, chose Dončić with the 3rd overall pick before trading him to the Dallas Mavericks, who had just drafted Trae Young with the 5th overall pick.
Luka from just inside half court. He got it! He got it!
And Dončić would prove to the rest of the league why they shouldn't have overlooked him in the draft. He wasted no time showing why he was a special player deserving of the 2018 EuroLeague MVP trophy. As early as his 2nd game of the 2018-19 season, Dončić destroyed the Minnesota Timberwolves with 26 points and 6 rebounds. Then, on October 29th, he had 31 points and 8 rebounds in an overtime loss to the San Antonio Spurs. Dončić's talents were so apparent that the Mavs didn't hesitate to play their offense through him. After 2 months of NBA-level basketball, he averaged 18.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. He was putting up veteran-level numbers at 19 years old, all while toying with some of the best defenders in the world using his crafty dribbles and incredible feel for the game. But there was one big problem. Dončić was playing out of position during the early part of his rookie season. The previous season, the Mavericks played Dennis Smith Jr. heavy minutes as their starting point guard. The 9th pick of the 2017 draft was putting up respectable numbers during his rookie year while showing off his athleticism. So, coming into the 2018-19 season, the Mavs figured they could start both Smith Jr. and Dončić together. Luka was basically playing shooting guard, a role unnatural to him because he always had to have the ball in his hands to be effective. He was a born playmaker who needed to be the one setting the offense up from the beginning. The problem was that playing alongside Smith Jr. minimized his touches and made it harder for him to find his groove.
Detroit
second season with the Clippers. At the top of the key, Luka Dončić.
But the talent level between Dončić and Smith Jr. was so wide that the Mavericks were convinced that they needed to build around their Slovenian sensation instead of their athletic young guard. After appearing in 32 games for Dallas that season, Smith Jr. was traded to the New York Knicks, opening up the point guard role for Luka. He did not disappoint anyone. On December 26th, he posted 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists. Basically, 1 rebound shy of what could have been his first career triple-double. A game after that, he went for a new career high of 34 points in a loss to the New Orleans Pelicans. Dončić found his groove after the Smith Jr. trade because he was now playing his natural position and could do whatever he wanted with the ball in his hands. So, it wasn't a surprise that he averaged 22.4 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 6.4 assists in January of his rookie season. This included his first career triple-double on January 21st, finishing with 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists in a loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. He was just 19, becoming the second youngest player at that time to record a triple-double. 3 games after that, he had the best game of his young career when he had 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists in a loss to the Toronto Raptors. Coming into the All-Star break, he was averaging 20.7 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 5.6 assists. Those were numbers worthy of an All-Star. But because he was just a rookie in a day and age where there were plenty of stars more deserving of an All-Star spot, Dončić was chosen not to appear in the midseason classic, even though he had the numbers and the popularity to support his claim. It didn't matter, because he continued tearing the league up after the All-Star break, collecting 5 more triple-doubles for a total of 8 triple-doubles during his rookie season. But it wasn't just about the triple-doubles for him, because Dončić was legitimately toying with grown men as a young man who was 19 throughout most of the season. He was doing moves no teenager in NBA history had any business mastering at such a young age. Dončić was routinely killing defenders with step-back three-pointers, crafty spins to the basket, and impossible shots with a man draped all over him. Luka's game was a reminder of how craftiness and pace could actually be better weapons than sheer speed and athleticism, especially when he was scoring against players faster and more athletic than he was. So, by the end of his rookie year, he was averaging 21.2 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 6 assists.
Gotten better as a back-to-the-back.
Luka driving and he throws it down. That's his own.
If those numbers belonged to a veteran player on a winning team, he would have made an All-NBA team and would have been in serious contention for the MVP trophy. But Dončić settled at contending for the Rookie of the Year award, which was not a lock for him because of Trae Young, the man the Mavs traded to acquire him. Young had a slow start to his rookie year because he couldn't find his shot against bigger, faster, and more talented NBA-level defenders. But as soon as he found his groove, Young showed why he was the NCAA's top scorer and passer in 2018, making the race for the Rookie of the Year award more interesting. Young averaged 19.1 points and 8.1 assists as a rookie. But because Dončić was far more consistent all year long, the Slovenian sensation earned 98 first-place votes against Young's 2 votes to win the Rookie of the Year trophy. Still, it wasn't the strong numbers in the Rookie of the Year award that made that season an anomaly for Dončić. After all, players like LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, and Michael Jordan had rookie years that were just as good or even better. But Dončić was doing all that as a teenager who didn't have the natural physical and athletic gifts that some of the all-time greats had. Instead, he was doing all that as an unathletic kid most scouts thought was far too slow to play NBA-level basketball. But while his rookie year was indeed an anomaly, it was only a preview of what was to come to the NBA the next few seasons, with Dončić steadily reaching his prime as one of the greatest talents the league has ever seen.